Good morning, Commanders List followers. Thank you for tuning in. It is Thursday, so you know what that means. I have a special announcement, and we're going to do this a little bit different format today, too. I've made the decision after thinking about it for quite a while that I am going to move on to 12 coins per week. I reserve the right to change my mind if I can't keep up with it. It's really difficult to find 12 really nice top 2% coins every week. And right now I have a fair amount that I've been able to dig out of the woodwork, but sometimes it goes dry, and usually it goes dry whenever the market turns. So the market can turn easily. Obviously the world is filled with lots of craziness right now, and so we never really know what's going to happen. So I'm going to try to meet the demand. I've been asked this for quite a while. I thought about going to do like a different like another bi-weekly sort of format where I had like lower end coins that were still really nice. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one list per week. I'm going to do 12 coins, and we're going to go from there. So with that being said, let's get started with this first coin, which I probably played too much for this coin. Sometimes you just recognize what you just don't see on the market compared to what the sheets say. I paid $3,100 for this coin. I'm selling it for $3,400. It is a perfect 1811 mid-grade large cent. The obverse color is exactly kind of what I like to see, maybe a hair darker than what I'd like to see, but it's medium, and it's certainly not too dark. Most of the coins you see in this grade have been recolored or messed with in some way. Not this one. This coin looks amazing. It has a great look to it. And then the reverse is exactly the color that I like, which is even a lighter brown. I think that this coin in CPG is like $3,000. Like I said, I paid over CPG. Maybe I'll own it for a while, but I think a 10% markup, and I'd buy it back at $3,100 all day, every day. It's a great coin if you're looking for this date in a mid-grade. All right, next up. This coin, when I got it at first, was covered in PVC. Came out of an old-time collection. Spent a while getting some acetone off of it, sent it to PCGS, then off to CAC. Turned out to be a nice looking piece. Not the rarest of coins, but certainly not common. It's a closed 3, so one thing, I don't think this cent has like a big variation between the open and the closed, but some of the dates, like the nickels and stuff, do, so it's always good to recognize whether it's closed or an open. It's usually pretty apparent if you've looked at them a few times. This coin is $750. Really nice red-brown color. Not a red, not a brown, right in the middle. I'd say it's a 64B coin. Not an upgrade, but it certainly has a great look to it. And it is $750. Proof Indian cents, I think, are still really cool, especially if you can find them with like nice color in them. All right, an AU58 $50. These are in very high demand. Thought about crossing this coin to PCGS. I have not tried, but I probably should. I just sold a 44 and 58 for I think the same price as I'm asking this one, $1,800. It's got nice soft luster. This is probably a coin that's been lightened and starting to retone. It's not getting the best of video right now for some reason, but the coin is really nice looking. It's got a nice soft eye appeal to it. There's the luster comes through a little bit better on the camera from this angle. $1,800 for an 1844. Seated halves in 58 CAC are super hot right now. Okay, I'm going to skip over the next half because it comes into a story I want to tell you guys. And we're going to skip to this beautiful 75S trade dollar, a quote-unquote common date trade dollar with a very, very nice retail look. This coin is $4,000. You can see what they've been selling for. I think that's actually a pretty reasonable price. shouldn't 5, that little line going right across there. This line here is on the holder, but this coin is blast white and really attractive. $4,000 for a nice type coin. 75S, obviously one of the common dates. But if you're looking for type, this is the one you want. And let's see, what am I moving on to next? This guy here. Okay. 1879S in 61, reverse of 78. Has a really nice looking obverse for a 1. You'll see when I flip it over that it's grade limited by the reverse. Not that this coin's even a 3 on the obverse, but it's a 2. This gets a little chippy on the reverse. Got a lot of glare going on in the camera today. I'm sorry, folks. I put it on the ultra high resolution. But nonetheless, this coin is $775. Very tough coin to find in an old green label holder, the reverse of 78, which is way rarer than the reverse of 79. There's where you want to look, by the way. See how the fletching of the eagle, or the arrow, is parallel with the lower. So the upper and lower fletching is always parallel there. If it's a reverse of 79, it's going to come off as like a triangular pattern off the top fletching. That's the easiest way to tell. All right, so let's move on to these 5 CACG coins. All right, you're probably wondering, what is an 1887 and mint state 60 doing in here? Okay, well, I bought this coin in an NGC holder. Paid $500 for it. And I bought it for this because the toning on the reverse was absolutely outstanding. And I sent this along with the next 4 coins or the next 3 coins, I should say, into CACG for a cross. And I was in a hurry and I put, cross at any grade, which is what I wanted at this. I figured the worst it was going to be was a 58. I thought it was a 60. They crossed it at a 60. This coin, by the way, $650. Love it. Color, green, magenta. This is the color that you want to see. Too bad it's not on the obverse, but it is a beautiful coin and it'll make you happy every time you pull it out of your collection. All right, so I did that, and then along the way, being a bit of a moron, I put these next 3 in at cross at any grade 2, which was a bit of a mistake. So let's start off with the $50. So this was in a PCGS AU58 holder. I thought it was an AU58 all day. I still do think it's a 58. It's got full luster. It's got a little softness on the cheek. I mean, whatever, So, but you know what? These trade similarly. It should have been an AU58 CAC, which would have been more. I'm going to make a little bit of money, but nonetheless, this coin is $600. So, bad on me for not doing that, for not paying attention. But the next 2, and the reason why I point this out, are definitely worth paying attention to. Okay, so let's jump ahead to this coin. Was not in the submission, but I had it in inventory and I wanted to use it as a example coin. So I don't remember where I got this coin, but here's a 64 dimple CACG. I agree with the grade, like 1000%. Obverse is more like a 5. It's got a little line right there. It's a dimple. It's like super, super, super deep mirrors. Blast white. Gorgeous. More like a 64 plus. I don't know why it would not be that. Maybe a little bit here. All the flash of like a 6 or 7 coin. But there's a line there. That is significant in the left obverse field. But whatever. This coin, by the way, is $1,200. Okay, 64 dimple. Let's just put that aside. This coin got sent in with that group, and it accidentally crossed at any grade, and here we are. I crossed it at a 63 PL. I agreed with the 63. 63 PL dimple, PL. No die polish lines on this coin. The reverses are almost completely identical. In fact, it almost looks like it was struck from some of the same, maybe the same die. But a 63 PL. And this is what the coin was in. So here's the label, if they send that back to you. Okay, so that's pretty annoying. There's a big difference in those grades if I had just left it in the NGC holder. The reason why I'm showing you this is right now CACG is not in vogue. People want PCGS and CAC. I will tell you, these coins, that if you can find them and if you have even the slightest bit of discernment, are going to be very, very, very high end, especially if you can buy them at a little bit of a discount because nobody really wants the CACG holders. I'm hoping that's going to change. I'm of two minds because this is, a frustrating experience for me. It's my own fault. I mean, I should have put not crossed at any grade, and then maybe they wouldn't have crossed. I don't really know. I know how to grade dollars pretty well. But this barrier to entry, because PCGS registry is all the rage, is costing people and collectors that have a good eye, it's costing you money. Go out and try to find these coins, and you are more likely to be able, even if you want to cross them, to spend the money to cross them over to PCGS if that's what you want. These coins are great. I mean, this is an outstanding 63 PL that's really a dimple. Right? I wouldn't have sent it in to CACG if I didn't think it was a dimple. All right, next coin. Oh, and here's the sheet for, there's that barber that was a 58 that should be a 58 all the time, but oh well. And then here's this coin, another coin that I sent in. Now here is a non-anything, and then here's the dimple. Reverse is pretty much the same. Not quite as deep mirrors, and whatever. And this is what this coin was in. And this is just, again, another reason, just to keep an eye on this stuff. So I should not put cross at any grade. There's no way this coin is not PL. Compare it to the dimple and the other PL. Anyway, I'm not griping. Oh, well, maybe a little bit. But I do want this to be kind of like a lesson. If you're poo-pooing CACG plastic because it doesn't fit your collection and you might have to do a little bit of work in order to get it into a PCGS holder, or just consider switching to the CAC registry, which I think is a smart idea because they allow all sorts of coins in the CACG registry, you are doing yourself a disservice as a collector. Okay, with that rant, let me just see what this coin is going to cost. I don't know if I'm losing money on this coin or not. I think I priced it kind of like it's dumb money for what this coin is, but probably reasonable for what it was. So this is $450. And then this one is $700. Blast white, not a lick of toning on any of them. Super retail nice coins, $700. All right. I know that was a lot. I could have explained it a little bit better, but this is just off the cuff a little bit sometimes, folks. That's what you get here. But I'm telling you the honest truth from as I see it. And let's move on. All right. Rattler, 32, common date, but really, really nice looking. Nice color on this coin. Sticker is in a little bit of rough shape. Got a little planchet void right there. Otherwise, super clean in here. Little chatter, commensurate. This coin's never going to be a 5. It's a 4 all day, but a very pretty 4 in the right sort of plastic. I think there was an NGC 4 that just sold for like $3,600 or $3,800. I don't remember what it was. It was CAC'd as well. I think I'm selling this coin relatively cheaply for what it is because these rattlers and gold are very popular. This coin is $3,750. And then finally, one big hunk of gold in a tweener grade, 62 plus, very nice looking piece. This is on the holder, by the way, that little bit right there. There's been a couple sold. One sold for $7,200, and another one sold for over $9,000 because it's a big spread if you can get this particular date in a 63 holder. Too bad about that shadow right there, because I mean this cheek is a 3+ cheek. The luster is enough for a 3. It's just that those grazes right there in the left obverse field, which is a focal area on the coin. So anyway, offering this coin at $7,500. Great looking piece if you don't want to break the bank. I mean, that's really only what, like, I don't know, $3,000, less than $3,000 over melt for a pretty tough coin. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. We're going to try to do 12. Next week, I'm not going to be as loquacious on my explanations. And until next week, happy hunting.